Hello children, let me welcome you to the virtual training center of the Brihan Mumbai Mahanagar Palika. My name is Shraddha teacher. Children, we are in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, isn't it? Because of that, we are not able to go to school, but that doesn't mean that we are going to stop learning. We are going to meet here regularly through the virtual training center to learn many lessons in EVS. So come on, let's go to a lesson in EVS. Come on children, so let's start with a new lesson in standard 4th EVS, and we are going to do a lesson in EVS 2. Now children, we all know that when we are studying EVS 2, that means we are studying about the life and times of Shivaji Maharaj, and our textbook itself is called Shiva Chhatrapati. So today let us take the story of Shivaji Maharaj forward, and let us take a look at the next lesson that we are going to study in this textbook. That is lesson number 14. The fort is captured but the lion is dead. Now there are a lot of stories about forts etc. that we have been learning about recently in this textbook, and we also have learned about many brave people, isn't it? We learned about Baji Prabhu Deshpande in the lesson that we were talking about when we talked about the memorable battle of Ghodkhind. After that, in the next lesson that we studied, that is the lesson based on Shaista Khan, there also we talked about a few brave Sardars. Then in the lesson the siege of Purandar, we talked about another brave Maratha soldier, that is Murar Baji, and we saw how he fought very bravely with Diler Khan. Now children, in this particular lesson we are again going to talk about another Maratha Sardar who was actually called a king or a lion by Shivaji Maharaj himself. Okay, so who was this lion and who are we talking about in today's lesson? We are going to talk about Tanaji Malusare in today's lesson, and he was called as a lion. Okay, and he fought in order to win back the fort of Kondana or Sinhagad, and he was able to win the fort back for his king. He captured the fort for his king, but he was dead. And that is how Shivaji described the situation. He said, the fort is captured, but the lion is dead. So let us go back and let us see a little bit in the past about how this situation came to be, and why was it decided that Tanaji Malusare will go forward and try to capture the fort of Kondana. Okay, and then we will talk about what happened to Tanaji Malusare. So we will start with Jiajbaisaheb's wish. Okay, now who was Jiajbaisaheb? She was the mother of our beloved king Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. So let us see what had happened. So now we saw that in the Treaty of Purandar, there was a kind of a agreement which was made between Shivaji Maharaj and the Mughal emperor. And who was the person who persuaded Shivaji Maharaj to sign the treaty of peace with the emperor? It was Mirza Jai Singh. Okay, now according to this treaty, Shivaji Maharaj had to give a lot of money, and also he had to hand over many forts to the emperor. So in the treaty of Purandar between Shivaji and Jai Singh on the 11th of June 1665, Shivaji agreed to give 23 of his forts, and he also agreed to pay a compensation of 4 lakh rupees to the Mughals. Okay, so this was one part of the agreement. Now among these 23 forts, Shivaji Maharaj had also handed over the fort of Kondana to the Mughal emperor. So the 23 forts which Shivaji handed over to Jai Singh were still in the hands of the Mughals, and Kondana was one of the 23 forts. Okay, now one day Jiajbaisaheb, when she looked outside her window, she could see Kondana in front of her. So Jiajbaisaheb said to Shivaji, Shivba, it is not safe to leave the strong Kondana fort in enemy hands. You must recapture it. And as we have seen in the previous part of the story, or as we have seen in the previous stories about the life of Shivaji Maharaj, he had a lot of respect, a lot of love for his mother Jijabai. And her wish was as good as command for Shivaji. So when she expressed her wish that the fort of Kondana should come back to us, okay, it is a very strong fort and it is a very strong point when we want to achieve Swaraj. And she insisted, she told her son that Kondana should not be left in enemy hands and you should recapture it. Now Shivaji also was thinking on the same lines. He also had the same line of thought. He also was not happy that Kondana was in Mughal hands. Now something which is very dear to you, or something which is a very strong point with you, if someone else takes it away, you definitely feel very sad and you want it back, isn't it? So Shivaji Maharaj was also thinking about how he could win or he could take back Kondana from the Mughal hands. So both Shivaji and Jiajbaisaheb were very unhappy about it. It was like a thorn in their side. Now if you have a thorn on your side, that particular thorn, it keeps on pricking you, okay, till the time you remove it. Now this thorn keeps on pricking you to remind you that something is wrong. So when you say something is like a thorn in your side, it means you are not peaceful. Something is bothering you always. Alright, so this Kondana being in the enemy hands was continuously bothering not only Shivaji Maharaj but also Jiajbaisaheb, that is his mother. Now Shivaji started making plans for the recapture of Kondana. So he started thinking on the lines about how he could get Kondana back from the enemy. Now at the same time, he also started thinking about who could be trusted with this task. It was very, very difficult to capture Kondana. Why was it difficult to capture Kondana? Because it was a very, very strong fort like we discussed. And because it was a very strong fort, Jijabai wanted it back. Okay, so now it would be very difficult also to capture Kondana. So Shivaji Maharaj started thinking on those lines. Alright, now let us come to the hero of the story for today, that is Tanaji Malusare. Now who was Tanaji Malusare? Tanaji was Shivaji's comrade right from the beginning. Comrade means friend, okay, companion, right from the beginning. From the time Shivaji Maharaj could think back, Tanaji was his friend. Now he came from a small village called Umrathe, see, near Mahad in Konkan. Now all these places are in Maharashtra. So here you can see the map of Maharashtra, a very light yellow color map of Maharashtra. And in Maharashtra, you could see this place called Mahad. Okay, now Mahad is in the Konkan part of Maharashtra. And in Mahad, there was a very small village called Umrathe, from where Tanaji Malusare hailed. Okay, now Tanaji Malusare was ever ready to put his heart and soul into any work assigned to him by Shivaji. So he was so much of a loyalist for Shivaji Maharaj. He was so faithful to Shivaji Maharaj that he was ready to put his heart and soul, that is, he was even ready to sacrifice his life if Shivaji Maharaj gave him any kind of work or assignment. Tanaji was strong and he was well built and he was as clever as he was brave. He was not only physically strong, but he was also mentally very, very strong. He was a very clever person. He was very intelligent also. So see, all these qualities are very rare in one person. Okay, so he was strong also, he was well built also, he was physically strong, he was mentally strong, he was very intelligent too. he was passionately devoted to Shivaji. That is, he was totally devoted to Shivaji. Alright. Now let us see how the story moved on. And let us talk about Kondana's marriage first. Now we all know that Kondana is actually a fort. And do forts get married? No, they don't. So how did the statement Kondana's marriage first come up? So let's see the story of Kondana's marriage first now. So Tanaji, he was actually making preparations for his son Raiba's wedding. Okay, so he was busy preparing for his son's wedding, and at that time, you see, children were quite young when they were married off. Okay, that time there was no system that people will get married only after they are 21 years old or so. So very young children also used to get married off. So he was busy making preparations. What was his son's name? His son's name was Raiba. Okay, and you will see that everyone in the house was busy with the marriage preparations. The marriage was only 4 days away. So now you know, when there is a marriage in the family, when there is a wedding in the family, everyone is busy. Okay, people are trying to make decorations, people are buying new clothes, then sweets are being made, and there are so many things that have to be done. People have to be invited also for the wedding. So there were only 4 days left for the wedding, and therefore now Tanaji thought, what did he think? He thought that he should go and invite Shivaji Maharaj and Ma Sahib to the wedding. Ma Sahib is Jiajbaisaheb. So he thought that now I should go and I should invite my very good friend, my king, that is Shivaji Maharaj, and also his mother, so that they will come and they will bless my son. So what did he do? He took his uncle along. So he was accompanied by Shelar Mama. Now that is his uncle. Okay, Tanaji went to Shivaji Maharaj to give him and Ma Sahib his personal wedding invitation to the wedding. So he went along with his mama, that is along with his uncle Shelar Mama, to invite Shivaji Maharaj for the wedding. Okay, and both Shelar Mama and Tanaji now are present in front of Shivaji Maharaj, and they are giving him or extending the invitation to him. So you will see here, see, they have given Shivaji Maharaj the invitation. Now what did Shivaji Maharaj say? On receiving the invitation from Shelar Mama, Shivaji said, Shelar Mama, you go back and celebrate the wedding. I am sorry, I shall be unable to attend. I have decided to lead a campaign for the recapture of Kondana. So he said, I am very happy that you have decided to invite me for the wedding, but at the same time, I am very sorry. I cannot come for the wedding. Why? Because I have decided that I am going to lead a campaign to recapture Kondana. I am going to take Kondana back from the Mughals, and that is my plan, and that is why I will not be able to join you in this fruitful, or you can say joyous, happy occasion, that is the wedding of Raiba. Now, as soon as Tanaji heard this, he said, Maharaj, do you propose to undertake this difficult and dangerous campaign while Tanaji is still alive? Then what is the use of persons like me? This will not do. So now Tanaji was very offended. He felt very bad. And he said that he felt that Maharaj did not have the confidence on Tanaji. He did not have the confidence on him. That is why he was going for the campaign himself. So he took objection and he told Maharaj, why do you want to go on this difficult campaign when I am alive? Okay, what is the use of people like me? He said, this is not going to do. I will not allow you to go on such a difficult campaign yourself. He said, I shall first perform the marriage of Kondana by capturing it. Raiba's wedding can wait. You must allow me to lead this campaign and bless me with it for its success. So he said, nothing doing, Maharaj. You are not going anywhere. Who is going for the fight of Kondana? It is going to be me, Tanaji, who is going to go and fight for Kondana and recapture it. That is why he said, that the wedding of Kondana, the marriage of Kondana will be performed first. After that, Raiba can get married. And he also sought the emperor's or the king's blessing for it. He said, give me your blessings so that I will be able to come back successful. And then Tanaji decided that he will work on a plan for capturing Kondana. So with these words, what did he do? He took charge of the campaign and left for Kondana. So you can see Tanaji Malusare here, and you can see Kondana there, and you can see how difficult a job it would be to capture Kondana. Why? Because its location, the way it is located at the top of a mountain with steep slopes on all these sides, it's going to be very, very difficult. Okay, for that, now Tanaji had to put a plan in place. So let's see what Tanaji's plan was. Okay, so now the fort Kondana was very difficult also to scale as a fort. You can see here, see the mountain, and it is steep. Okay, the mountain is very steep. It is almost straight at 90 degrees, and then you have the fort. The fort was under the immediate control of Uday Bhan, a Rajput officer appointed by Jai Singh. Now you know it was under the control of Mirza Raje Jai Singh. After the Treaty of Purandar, all these forts were under the control of the Mughal emperor, and in turn it was under the control of Mirza Raje Jai Singh. He was a Rajput, and there was another officer who was working under Mirza Raje Jai Singh. His name was Uday Bhan, and the fort was under the control of Uday Bhan. Uday Bhan was a person who was looking after the affairs of the fort, and Uday Bhan was also a very disciplined and vigilant officer. He was also a very smart officer. Now, there were two entrances to the fort. The fort of Kondana, it had two entrances, but both were heavily guarded by Uday Bhan's men. Now, Uday Bhan's men were always ready to attack anyone who would try to come near the fort. How then to mount an assault? So how would you be able to mount an assault and reach the top of the fort and destroy the Mughals and take the fort back into your control? So this was a big question. Now Tanaji, what did he do? He quietly made a detailed inspection of the fort. He quietly, very secretly, he went from all the sides and he made an inspection of the fort. Now on the western side, there was a steep precipice. Precipice means straight kind of a climb, where there were no guards. Tanaji decided to attack from that side. Now why there were no guards over here? Because the place was so steep that no one could climb it. It was not like in today's times, children, where you have cranes and things like that. Okay, so here the guards were sure that no one will come from this side, so this place was not guarded at all. And Tanaji decided to attack from that side only. What did he do? He explained his plan to his younger brother Suryaji. He said, you take a detachment of 500 troops and try and reach the Kalyan gate or the Kalyan Darwaza. The forts had different doors, isn't it? And each door had a different name. So he told his brother Suryaji that you go and take 500 people with you and try to reach the Kalyan gate. He said, I will do what I will do, what Tanaji will do. With another 300, I shall climb the precipice and I will get inside the fort. And as soon as we are there, we shall throw open the doors of Kalyan gate. Then you step in and join us. Together, we shall destroy the Mughal troops defending the fort. So see the plan. Tanaji would climb the precipice which no one would dare to climb, and he will enter the fort and he will open the door for the other Maratha troops. So this was the plan. Now, with the plan thus finalized, Suryaji and Tanaji went their different ways. Okay, so now we have seen half of this lesson. We talked about why the king Shivaji decided that he should get Kondana back. It was his mother's wish. And how Tanaji happened to reach there. in order to invite Shivaji Maharaj for his son Raiba's wedding. And when he heard Shivaji Maharaj's intention of trying to capture the fort, he took the duty or responsibility upon himself. Okay, and we saw how he has put a plan in place along with his brother Suryaji. Now when we come back and meet next time, children, we will see how the plan actually was put into place, and was the plan successful, and then why did Shivaji Maharaj have to say that we captured the fort but the lion is dead? So what happened? How did Tanaji lose his life? So all these parts of the story we will be looking at when we come and meet in the next video. But till then, children, I want you to listen to the entire story by seeing the entire video right till the end. And then there are also some tasks which I have set for you, so complete those tasks also. So children, now you have watched the video. So after you watch the video now, you will have to complete a few simple tasks. Now you might have watched the video on your computers or your laptops or your mobile phones. Now after you watch the video, what will you do? You will please go to the description box which is given below the video. So what is the description box? See, the description box looks like this. Alright, and after you go to the description box, you will see that there are a few questions there. Now what are these questions about? These questions are about the lesson that we just learned or the video that you just watched. So what will you do? You will think back properly about the lesson and you will try and answer these questions and note down the answers in your notebook if you want. Okay? After that, we have another task waiting. You will also click on the link which you will find in the description box to fill up the Google form. So now what is the Google form, children? It is nothing but a simple form. There are a few simple questions there about the video which you just saw and also about yourself. So these are the tasks now that you will have to complete after you watch each video. So children, wasn't that a very interesting lesson? I'm sure you learnt a lot of new things in this lesson. If you have liked this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my video so that you will get to see all the videos which I keep posting regularly.